Right, are we settled?
Yes.
Are we comfortable? Then I'll begin. I've forgotten where that sentence comes from. Feel comfortable. Begin. Okay, so take a deep breath in and out. And a deep breath in and out. So I'm just going to bring the towel down, cover the bra. But we want to be working on the chest, not just the clavicle. I'm going to use white lotion, which is not quite so oily as the grapeseed, and apply it with a nice effleurage, continuous move. And the same, we want a lubrication on the face, we're not dragging the skin. It's just about getting confident with your moves on the face. Lovely, so I'm going to start with a nice long effleurage coming under the neck and then sweeping back in a nice continuous movement. And then I'm going to bring the fingertips to the cheeks and do a nice firm effleurage from behind the eyebrows. Coming back in a straight line to the hairline. And back again. So nice firm pressures. And I'm going to do a pressure walk with the index finger. So I'm going to support with the left hand, and then I'm going to come with pressure in between the eyebrows and release the tension by doing a pressure walk in a straight line back to the hairline, coming across at a right angle. How's the pressure? Is that right for your side?
Yes, thank you.
And we're heading for the middle of the eyebrow, following the eyebrow along, larger circles at the temple. And as I said, because we've got lymph nodes in front of the ear, we're going to push any tension to the anterior auricular lymph nodes. So changing sides, we're going to do a pressure walk to match up this side. Coming across to the middle of the eyebrow. And then following in a pressure walk on top of the eyebrow bone. When you find the temple, I'm going to do larger circles at the temple and push off to the ear. This time we're going to hook into the sinus point that we were looking at earlier, hooking under the eye, under the bone rather, and follow along the eyebrow bone. And when we find the temple, we're going to do larger circles at the temple and push off to the ear. And then again we're going to hook underneath the bone, follow the eyebrow bone along. So pressure walk, larger circles at the temple and push off to the ear. Now this time we're going to slide the middle finger down the nose and apply pressure underneath the eye. Larger circles at the temple. And push off to the ear. And again, elbow out, slide down the middle finger down the nose. I'm going to apply pressure underneath the eye. Larger circles at the temple. And push off to the ear. And then I'm just going to pinch the eyebrow. A nice squeeze and a pinch, lifting it up, squeezing between the index finger and the thumb. Releasing the tissues along the way. There's a little notch in the bone, about a centimetre or so. There's a little notch, see if you can find it on your own eyebrow. Just at the very beginning there's a little notch. Some of them are a little bit more obvious than others. About 1/2 inch into the eye. Yeah, there's a notch there, and that's quite a good pressure point for releasing tension. So little circles on that notch, and then working its way out. And I like to do some nice circular effleurage, bringing the pressure up into the sinus point and holding.
Right.
And then easing off as you come round. So we don't want to pull the face and pull the skin, but the pressure coming up into the sinus point and holding helps to release the sinus pressure. And then ease it off as you go round. So middle finger, which is your lightest finger that you've got. The main thing is not to be in a rush or a hurry. You take your time.
And make it as relaxing as possible.
Yeah. And I like to do some effleurage to say, okay, I've finished the eyes now. So I'm going to just effleurage across the eyebrows as a sort of full stop. And I'm going to work a little bit further down the face. So I'm going to come into the sinus point with the middle finger and do a pressure point down the nose onto the cheekbone. Follow that cheekbone around. And then go across the teeth to the jaw. And then again this side. Down the side of the nose. And across the cheek. teeth to the jaw. And I like to do what I call my praying mantis move.
Okay.
Get a support there, and I'm going to drain the sinuses. With the middle finger just stretching over and draining the sinuses. Sometimes people feel as though they can feel the sinuses trickling down the throat, you know, when you drain the sinus fluid. It's quite a normal reaction. And we're just going to hold and hold and hold and hold. And then do another pressure walk down the side of the nose, across the cheeks, over the teeth, to the jaw, and the same this side. Just making sure you don't squish the nostrils so that people can't breathe properly. And then we're going to do the same with the upper lip. Effleuraging the upper lip. If you had a man with a moustache, facial hair, you might do a pressure walk instead.
Okay.
Yeah, to stimulate circulation a bit more. And then, as we talked about earlier, we're going to do thumb on top of the jawline. Change to middle finger halfway across, because we're now coming behind the jaw and the ear, which can be more tender.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the thumb on top of the chin, then changing to the middle finger, and then the middle finger under the jaw. And then I'm going to do a kneading roll along the jawline. And I'm going to do a rolling knead from one ear to the other, like you're crimping a pasty.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Haven't crimped many pasties.
No. It's the same movement though.
Yeah. Helps relax the jaw muscles.
Does.
Yeah.
And the jaw we hold very tense and
Yeah.
rigid. So it's worth spending some time just loosening the jaw, maybe encourage your client to sort of slacken their mouth and just let the mouth and the lower jaw just drop a little bit. And as I said this morning, you know, the tension that we carry on the edge of the jaw. So we're just going to come up.
So if you had a client with a beard,
Yeah.
wouldn't be particularly easy?
No, I would pressure point more,
Yeah.
so you're not dragging the hair.
Yeah.
You could oil the beard.
Yeah.
You could include an oil treatment in the beard,
Okay.
which would
Give it
enhance the consistency
Yeah.
and also give you some lubrication.
Yeah. Yeah.
That probably would need a bit of practice
Yeah.
on a beard. But certainly more kneading on the hair would be very good.
Yeah.
And people do a lot of beard movements now, facials and
Okay.
shampooing.
Yes. Okay, going to do a barber course.
Yeah, have a comb it
Yes.
through. So coming right the way to the edge of the ears. And along that jawline, where you've got the pterygoids. And as we said earlier, into the gums,
Yeah.
improving the circulation of the gums, just above the jawline, where we can get a lot of tension.
Mm.
And tenderness, in the gums
Yeah.
sometimes. And if you come up, you can come right on the edge of the hairline. Maybe the thumb pressures over the frontal muscle. Come in a straight line over the top of the scalp. Back to the crown. And then come back about an inch apart. And I'm going to sweep down an effleurage and up into the neck and hold into that occipital ridge. Just going to warm up the skin a bit. It's quite good to friction into the sternum.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the pecs attach. And it can be quite tender if we're doing work with our arms a lot. I'm going to turn the head to the left. I'm going to do a nice working on the neck muscles. So just with those two fingers, just in the side, not on the spine at all,
Mm-hmm.
but about an inch out,
Yeah.
just starting round about C7
Right.
and coming up the side. Is the pressure all right this side?
Yes.
Over the muscles.
Okay.
It's a little bit tender.
It's too much? Is it pleasurable agony?
It's pleasurable agony. Well, it's not agony, no. It's just tender.
Yeah. Just some nice circles. Loosen up the tension. I think if you don't include the neck, then people go away with all the tension focused on the neck then.
And it's like when you have a massage and you feel as though there's just one point that you want to have touched
Yes,
and
yeah.
manipulated and it's not touched.
Yeah.
And it leaves you like a bit disappointed, really.
Yeah. And you can feel where the tension is, but you don't know really which is the most tender one for people. So feedback is quite good
Yeah.
to encourage, because sometimes you can be up a bit, left a bit, right a bit of the the key point. And I'm going to start in that little groove in the back of the occipital ridge with the middle finger and just do quite a deep circle in there. Something's twanging, Sally. Is that just uncomfortable or not?
No,
No?
I can hear it, but
You feel it? It's lactic acid crystal just twanging away there. And then moving around a little bit more. Going to follow that ridge along the occipital groove, which is where you have an awful lot of muscles attaching. You've got the trapezius and the splenius capitis, erector spinae muscles, sternocleidomastoid, they're all attaching. Sorry, is that a bit tender, that one?
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes.
And there's always key ones. We can feel all the muscles, but we can't tell how painful they are. Just going to work into the back, the occipital ridge. This is the mastoid process. You've got quite a few muscles attaching. There, you've got the splenius capitis. We've got the scalenes attaching here as well, which is not a muscle that was in our syllabus for the body massage, but it's still there and it's an important one. So I'm going to do a pressure point now around, pressure point walk around the ear. And then a nice friction and squeeze of the earlobes and the outside of the ear. And as you know, as a reflexologist, you have a lot of points that represent the ear. Particularly the edge is the spine, and then the earlobe itself represents a lot of points on the head. So by giving it a really good friction in, you're sort of stimulating the whole body. And then we're going to come the other side. So gently turning the head, supporting it underneath with your hand. A little bit of lubrication down and around the shoulder. Just going to cover your shoulder a bit, Sally, it's feeling a bit cold. And again, doing the same thing this side. Finding that C7, which is the one that sticks out at the bottom of your neck. Coming out about an inch. Doing circles either side of the spine. It feels a bit tighter. Is it tender now?
No. There.
There,
Yes.
Starting to crunch a bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes as you work on a muscle it starts to crunch. That's the lactic acid crystals you're loosening up that are congesting the muscle. When it starts it can be just firm and hard, and as you work on the muscle it sort of starts crunching and breaking down into sort of quite obvious granules really of lactic acid. But again, you've got to be careful you don't pull the hair. You feel a bit under there. Is it pulling?
No.
And then I've come to the occipital ridge, so I'm going to come into that groove in the occipital ridge. So it's sort of quite a firm pressure. But again, you know, watching the face and feeling the body for any signs of resistance, which might tell you it's a bit tender.
And most clients will say.
Yeah. And then a pressure point around the ear. And then a frictioning of the earlobe. across the chest to link, and this time I'm going to pull up right underneath the head and out as far as I can come towards my stomach. Just pulling up underneath. You might do some nice sweeps under the neck, trying to get the full weight of the head.
Yeah.
Feels nice, that little bit of traction, a little bit of extension on the neck. Feels nice just to have it stretched. You know, we never have it stretched enough. And then I'm going to work the scalp. So I'm going to turn the head gently to the left and use a nice firm fingertips to loosen up the scalp on the skull. So we're not like a hairdresser, we're not shampooing.
No.
This is moving the scalp on the skull. So if I was moving this, it'd be moving it on the couch cover. Because,
Ruffling hair is more
yeah,
working the skin.
it is. Working the scalp over the bone, which releases tension when we get headaches, migraines. The scalp becomes almost attached and stuck onto the scalp. And the tension then traps between the scalp and the skull, which can cause headaches.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is keep the scalp nice and loose, keep it moving, and release the tension between the two. And you can feel it, it's palpable. There's a sort of tension and hardness about a scalp that's adhered. And I think on the receiving end, you know, you can feel as though your scalp is like a bathing hat, it's getting tighter and tighter.
Yeah.
So paying particular attention to the hairline. And then coming around the back of the ear. On one hand, and do the same thing the other side. Turning the head. I like to do a little waggle with the head to relax it.
Okay.
Just push it gently from side to side. Make sure it's nice relaxed. And then you can do the same thing with the shoulders. Make sure it's nice and relaxed. And finish with an effleurage through and under the hair. Flick it away. I'm going to pop the pillow back underneath. Put the bra strap, tuck it in. Just leave you a minute. I'll get you some water, Sally. Thank you. Huh? Yes, that's lovely.